There's a fight happening inside you every single day, and nobody sees it, and nobody sees it. You wake up, you go through your routine, you speak to people, you laugh when you have to, but deep down, there's a war going on that doesn't make a sound. No crowd, no spotlight, just you and that voice in your head that doesn't always believe in you. That's the real battlefield. It's not out there. It's in here. It's in the moments when you're alone, when everything slows down, when the noise fades and your thoughts get louder. That's when the real fight begins. That's when doubt steps in like it owns the place. It starts asking questions you don't want to answer. What if you're not enough? What if you fail? What if this is all for nothing? And most people, they lose right there, not because they're weak, but because they never learn how to fight what they can't see. They don't know how to stand firm when there's no one watching, no one cheering, no one reminding them who they are. But you've been in that fight longer than you realize. Every time you felt like quitting but didn't, that was a victory. Every time you pushed through a day that felt heavier than the last, that was a victory. Every time you chose to keep going when your mind was telling you to stop, that was a victory. You may not celebrate those moments. Nobody hands you a trophy for surviving your hardest days, but those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments that build something unshakable inside you. See, the world teaches you to focus on visible battles, competition, success, recognition. But the most important fight you'll ever face is the one within. Because if you can't conquer your own mind, it won't matter what you achieve on the outside. Your mind can either be your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. And right now, every day, it's testing you. It's testing your patience when things don't go your way. It's testing your belief when results don't show up. It's testing your strength when you feel like you have nothing left. And here's the truth. You don't need to win every battle in your mind. You just need to refuse to surrender. Because the moment you surrender internally, everything else follows. But as long as you're still standing, as long as you're still fighting back, even quietly, you sure still in control. That's power. Not loud, not flashy, but real. And understand this, the fact that nobody sees your struggle doesn't make it less real. It makes it more powerful because you're not doing it for attention. You're not doing it for attention. You're not doing it for applause. You're doing it because something inside you refuses to give up. That's rare. That's dangerous. That's what separates those who break from those who rise. There will be days when that inner voice gets louder than your strength. Days when it feels like you're losing control, like you're falling behind, like nothing you do is enough. And in those moments, you're going to have to remind yourself of something simple but powerful. You've made it this far. Through every doubt, every setback, every silent tear, you're still here. That means something. That means you're stronger than the thoughts trying to break you. Don't underestimate that, because strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like getting out of bed when you don't want to. Sometimes it looks like holding yourself together when everything inside you feels like it's falling apart. Sometimes it looks like taking one more step when you're not even sure where you're going. That's the war no one sees. And if you can win that war, even little by little, day by day, then nothing outside of you can stop you. Because once you control what's happening inside, the outside has no choice but to follow. So the next time that voice shows up, the next time doubt tries to take over, the next time it feels like you're fighting alone, don't run from it. Stand there. Face it and remind yourself who you are becoming through this fight. Pain has a way of showing up uninvited. It doesn't knock, it doesn't ask for permission. It just arrives, and suddenly everything feels heavier. Your chest feels tight, your thoughts feel scattered, and your energy, it feels like it's been drained out of you. And in those moments, the first instinct most people have is to run, to escape it, to avoid it. to pretend it's not there. But what if I told you that the very thing you're trying to avoid is the thing that's trying to elevate you? See, pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. Every uncomfortable moment you've faced, every setback that made you question yourself, every disappointment that left you sitting in silence, it wasn't there to break you, it was there to train you, to stretch you, to force you into a version of yourself you wouldn't become any other way. Because growth doesn't happen in comfort. Comfort keeps you where you are. It tells you to relax, to stay safe, to avoid risk. But pain pushes you. It demands more from you. It forces you to confront parts of yourself you've been ignoring. It forces you to evolve. Think about it. The strongest people you know, the ones who walk with confidence, who carry themselves with a certain presence, they didn't get there by having an easy life. They got there because life tested them again and again, and instead of breaking, they adapted. That's what pain does. It adapts you. It sharpens your mindset. It strengthens your discipline. It strengthens your discipline. It strengthens your discipline. It builds your endurance. It teaches you lessons you can't learn any other way, but only if you're willing to face it. Because pain gives you two options. You can either let it destroy you, or you can let it define you. And the difference between those two outcomes, it's how you respond. When things fall apart, do you shut down or do you step up? When life gets hard, do you look for a way out or do you look for a way through? Because every time you choose to face pain instead of avoiding it, you gain something. Maybe it's clarity, maybe it's resilience. Maybe it's strength you didn't know you had, but something inside you shifts. And over time, those shifts add up. You become tougher, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You start to realize that the things that once shook you don't have the same power anymore. That's growth. And it's not pretty, it's not comfortable, it doesn't feel good while it's happening. But it's necessary. There's a reason pressure creates diamonds. There's a reason fire forges steel. And there's a reason fire forges steel. And there's a reason pain builds greatness. Because without resistance, there is no strength. Without struggle, there is no transformation. And without pain, there is no real progress. So when you are in those moments when everything feels like it's working against you, when you're questioning why things are so difficult, don't just ask, why is this happening to me? Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Because there's always a lesson. Maybe it's teaching you patience when you want everything right now. Maybe it's teaching you discipline when you feel like giving up. Maybe it's teaching you to let go of what's not meant for you so you can make space for what is. Whatever it is, it's shaping you, even when you don't see it. Even when it feels like you're stuck, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Something is happening beneath the surface. You're being built. And one day, you're going to look back at the moments that hurt you the most and realize they were the moments that changed you the most. They made you stronger. They made you wiser. They made you more prepared for what's ahead. So don't waste your pain. Don't run from it. Don't numb it. Use it. Let it fuel you. Let it teach you. Let it push you to a level you didn't think you could reach. Because the truth is, the life you want requires a version of you that only pain can create. And if you can embrace that, if you can stand in the middle of your struggle and still choose to move forward, then there's nothing that can stop you. Feelings will lie to you. They'll tell you you're tired when you've barely begun. They'll tell you to slow down when you're finally gaining momentum. They'll whisper, you deserve a break, right at the moment you need to push the hardest. And if you listen to them every time they speak, you'll find yourself stuck, not because you lack potential, but because you surrendered control. See, feelings are real, but they're not reliable. They change with the weather, with your mood, with what happened 5 minutes ago. One moment you're motivated, ready to take on the world. The next moment, you're questioning everything. That's the nature of emotion. It rises, it falls, it shifts without warning. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline shows up when motivation disappears. It moves when excuses get louder. It acts when your mind tries to convince you to stay comfortable. And that's the difference between those who dream and those who become. Because anyone can move when they feel good. Anyone can work when they're inspired. Anyone can chase their goals when everything is going their way. But the real test, the real separation, happens on the days when you don't feel like it. That's where discipline takes over. It's waking up when your body says, stay in bed. It's putting in the work when your mind is looking for sheish or cuts. It's staying consistent when nobody is watching, when nobody is praising you, when nobody even knows what you're building. That's power. Because when you stop relying on how you feel, you take control of your life. You're no longer a slave to your emotions. You're no longer waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect mood, the perfect conditions. You create momentum regardless of what's happening inside you. And let me tell you something. Most people never reach that level. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel confident. They wait to feel motivated. And while they're waiting, life keeps moving, opportunities pass, time disappears, potential fades, not because they couldn't do it, but because they never acted when it mattered. You can't afford that. You can't build something meaningful by only showing up when you feel like it. You can't grow by only taking action when it's easy. That's not how greatness works. Greatness is built in the moments you want to quit, but don't. It's built in the moments you feel weak, but keep going. It's built in the moments your mind is full of doubt, but your actions stay consistent. That's discipline. And here's the truth. Discipline is a decision. It's not something you're born with. It's something you practice, something you build one action at a time. Every time you choose to do what needs to be done instead of what you feel like doing, you strengthen it. Every time you follow through on your commitments, even when it's hard, you strengthen it. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you strengthen it. And over time, it becomes who you are. You don't hesitate anymore. You don't argue with yourself anymore. You don't let emotions control your direction anymore. You move with purpose. You move with intention. You move with control. Because you understand something most people don't. Your feelings are temporary, but your actions create your future. So when that voice shows up telling you to slow down, to take it easy, to wait until tomorrow, you don't negotiate with it. You act, you move, you execute. Because you know that every time you choose discipline over feelings, you're investing in a stronger version of yourself. And that version, it doesn't break under pressure. It doesn't fall apart when things get hard. It doesn't depend on motivation to survive. It's built on consistency. It's built on commitment. It's built on the understanding that success isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do. And once you truly understand that, everything changes. You stop making excuses. You stop delaying action. You stop letting temporary emotions control permanent decisions. You take ownership, and that's where your power comes from. So the next time you don't feel like doing the work, the next time your mind starts giving you reasons to stop, the next time comfort tries to pull you back, remember this. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. There comes a moment in your life when the noise fades. The calls slow down. The messages stop coming. The room gets quieter than you expected. And at first, it feels uncomfortable. It feels like something is missing, like you've been pushed into a space you didn't choose. That's where most people panic. They rush to fill that silence. They reach for distractions. They surround themselves with anything, anyone, just to avoid being alone with their own thoughts. Because being alone forces you to face something real. It forces you to face yourself. But what if that moment isn't punishment? What if it's a gift? See, isolation has a purpose. It strips away the noise so you can finally hear what matters. No opinions, no pressure, no expectations, just truth, your truth. Because when you're constantly surrounded by people, by noise, by distractions, it's easy to lose yourself. You start living based on what others expect, what others think, what others want from you. You move, but not with purpose. You move with influence. And slowly, without realizing it, you forget who you are. But isolation brings you back. It puts you in a space where you can't hide behind anyone else. You can't pretend, you can't perform. It's just you and your thoughts, your decisions, your direction. And that's powerful because clarity doesn't come from noise. It comes from stillness. It comes from those quiet moments when you sit with yourself and ask the hard questions. What do I really want? Where am I going? Who am I becoming? And sometimes the answers aren't comfortable. Sometimes you realize you've been settling. Sometimes you realize you've been chasing the wrong things. Sometimes you realize you've been holding on to people, habits, or beliefs that are keeping you stuck. That's the truth isolation reveals. And truth is the beginning of transformation, because once you see clearly, you can't unsee it. Once you understand what needs to change, you can't ignore it anymore. That's when growth begins. Not when everything feels good, but when everything becomes real. And here's the part most people don't understand. Isolation isn't about being lonely. It's about becoming. It's about building a relationship with yourself that doesn't depend on anyone else. It's about learning how to stand on your own, think on your own, move on your own, move on your own. Because if you can't be comfortable alone, you'll always depend on others to feel complete. And that kind of dependence, it weakens you. But when you learn to embrace solitude, when you stop running from it and start using it, something changes. You become stronger. Not because life gets easier, but because you stop needing constant validation. You stop looking for approval. You stop relying on external noise to define your direction. You start trusting yourself. Your decisions become sharper, your focus becomes clearer, your energy becomes intentional, and suddenly you are not just moving, you're moving with purpose. That's what isolation gives you. It gives you space to grow without distractions. It gives you time to think without interference. It gives you the opportunity to rebuild yourself without outside pressure. And yes, it's not always easy. There will be moments when it feels heavy, moments when you wish things were different, moments when the silence feels louder than any noise. But don't run from those moments. Lean into them, because that's where the work is happening. That's where you're learning patience. That's where you're building resilience. That's where building resilience. That's where you're discovering who you are when nobody's watching. And let me tell you something, that version of you. The one built in silence, the one shaped in isolation, the one that doesn't rely on anything outside itself. That version is powerful because it's real. It's not influenced by trends. It's not controlled by opinions. It's not shaken by rejection or doubt from others. It stands on its own. And when you reach that point, when you no longer fear being alone, when you no longer need constant noise to feel secure, you unlock a level of freedom most people never experience, because now you're not choosing people, opportunities, or paths out of fear or need. You're choosing them from strength, from clarity, from purpose. So if you're in a season right now where things feel quiet, where you feel alone, where it seems like the world has pulled back from you, don't see it as loss. See it as preparation, because something is being built within you that requires silence. Something is being shaped that can't grow in chaos. Something is developing that needs your full attention. And when this season is over, when you step back into the world, you won't be the same person who entered it. You'll be stronger, more focused, more certain of who you are and where you're going. So embrace the silence. Use the isolation. Let it refine you instead of breaking you, because this time alone, it's not here to make you feel empty. Doubt doesn't knock before it enters your mind. It just shows up, quiet, subtle, almost convincing. It doesn't scream, it whispers. And that's what makes it dangerous. It tells you things that sound logical. It says, maybe you're not ready yet. It says, what if you fail? It says, what if this isn't meant for you? And if you're not careful, you start treating those whispers like facts. But let's get something clear. Doubt is not truth. It's a test, and not a test designed to stop you, but a test designed to reveal you, because doubt only shows up when you're stepping into something bigger. It doesn't visit people who are playing small. It doesn't bother those who have already decided to settle. It comes for those who are trying to grow, to stretch, to become more than they were yesterday. So if you're feeling doubt right now, that's not a sign to stop. That's a sign you're moving in the right direction. See, every level of your life is going to require a different version of you. And every time you try to step into that next version, doubt is going to meet you at the door. It's going to question you. It's going to challenge you. It's going to try to send you back to what's familiar. Because growth is unfamiliar, and the mind, it craves certainty. It wants safety. It wants guarantees. But the path to anything meaningful, it doesn't come with guarantees. It comes with risk. It comes with uncertainty. It comes with moments where you have to move forward without knowing exactly how it's going to work out. And that's where doubt thrives. But here's the difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck. One listens to doubt. The other challenges it. When doubt says, you can't, the strong mind asks, why not? When doubt says, you're not ready, the disciplined mind responds, I'll become ready. When doubt says, you might fail, the focused mind says, then I'll learn. That's how you pass the test, not by eliminating doubt, but by refusing to let it control you, because doubt will never fully disappear. Because doubt will never fully disappear. No matter how successful you become, no matter how far you go, it will always try to find its way back in. The difference is you won't be the same person it once controlled. You'll recognize it, you'll understand it. And most importantly, you'll rise above it. Think about every time you've doubted yourself in the past, every moment you hesitated, every opportunity you questioned, every time you almost didn't try. Now think about the times you moved forward anyway. Those moments built you. Those moments showed you what you're capable of. Those moments proved that doubt doesn't define your limits, your actions do. That's the truth most people never accept. They wait for doubt to disappear before they act. They think confidence comes first, then action follows. But it doesn't work like that. Action comes first. Confidence follows. You build belief by doing. You build strength by facing resistance. You build certainty by walking through uncertainty. That's the process. And doubt is part of that process. It's there to ask you one question. Do you really want this? Not in words, but in pressure, in hesitation, in fear. And how you respond to that pressure determines everything. If you step back, you stay where you are. If you step forward, you grow. It's that simple. But simple doesn't mean easy, because stepping forward means facing the possibility of failure. It means risking embarrassment. It means putting yourself in a position where things might not go your way. And most people avoid that. They choose comfort over growth. They choose safety over potential. They choose certainty over greatness, but you can't have both. You can't stay comfortable and expect to become extraordinary. You have to choose. And doubt is the moment where that choice becomes real. So the next time it shows up, and it will, I don't want you to run from it. I don't want you to run from it. I don't want you to believe it. I want you to face it. Stand there in that moment of uncertainty and make a decision, not based on fear, not based on hesitation, but based on who you're trying to become, Because the person you're becoming doesn't wait for doubt to disappear. They move despite it. They act in the presence of fear. They take steps even when the path isn't clear. That's strength. That's growth. That's how you pass the test. And every time you do, you become more confident, more resilient, more unstoppable, not because doubt is gone, but because it no longer controls you. So understand this: doubt is not your enemy. It's your proving ground. It's the moment that separates who you are from who you're capable of becoming. Right now, it might feel like nothing is happening. You wake up, you put in the effort, you try to stay focused, you try to stay disciplined, but when you look at your life, it doesn't seem like anything is changing. The results aren't showing. The progress feels slow. Sometimes it even feels like you're moving backwards. And that's where most people lose faith. Not because they're not capable, but because they can't see what's being built. But let me tell you something you need to understand. Just because you can't see progress doesn't mean progress isn't happening. There are seasons in life where everything is visible. Wins, rewards, recognition, it's all right there in front of you. But then there are seasons where the work is happening beneath the surface. Quiet, unnoticed, uncelebrated. That's the season you're in right now. And this season, this is where the real building happens. Because what you're creating isn't small, it's not temporary, it's not something that comes together. It's not something that comes together or overnight. You're building something bigger, something that requires patience, discipline, and a level of resilience that most people aren't willing to develop. And anything built at that level takes time. Think about it like this. When a foundation is being laid, nobody stands around clapping. Nobody celebrates the digging, the dirt, the slow and steady process of preparing what's underneath. But without that foundation, nothing above it can stand. That's what you're doing. You're laying a foundation. Every time you show up when it's hard, you're building. Every time you stay consistent when you don't feel like it, you're building. Every time you push through doubt, through pain, through uncertainty, you're building. It may not look like much right now, but piece by piece, day by day, something is forming, something solid, something unshakable. And the reason it feels slow is because it's being done right. Fast growth is fragile. It looks good for a moment, but it doesn't last. But slow, intentional, disciplined growth, that's the kind that stands the test of time. That's the kind that can't be taken away from you. And here's the truth: most people struggle to accept. You don't always get immediate results for your effort. Sometimes you have to work in silence. Sometimes you have to improve without recognition. Sometimes you have to believe in something you can't yet see. That's faith in your process. That's trust in your journey. And that's what separates those who eventually succeed from those who give up too early. Because the moment you quit, you destroy everything you've been building. All the effort, all the discipline, all the growth, it doesn't get the chance to come together. But if you stay consistent, if you keep going, if you refuse to stop just because it's taking longer than you expected, there will come a moment where everything connects. A moment where the work you've been putting in finally shows. A moment where the results start to match the effort. And when that moment comes, it won't be small. It won't be average. It will be powerful because it was built with intention. But you don't get there by rushing. You get there by trusting. Trusting that every step matters. Trusting that every challenge is shaping you. Trusting that even when it feels like nothing is happening, everything is happening, because while you're waiting for results, you're becoming someone capable of handling those results. That's the real transformation. It's not just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. The discipline you're building, the patience you're developing, the mindset you're strengthening, those things matter more than any temporary success. Because once you have those, you can build anything. So don't get discouraged by the silence. Don't get frustrated by the lack of immediate immediate progress. Don't let impatience make you walk away from something that's still in the process of becoming, because what you're building right now, it's bigger than what you can see. It's stronger than what you feel, and it's closer than you think. Stay consistent. Stay focused. Stay committed to the process, even when it doesn't make sense. Because one day you're going to look back at this phase, the quiet, the struggle, the uncertainty, and you're going to realize this was the moment everything started to come together. This was the phase that made the difference. This was the time when you didn't give up. And that decision, that's the reason you made it. Nobody hands you strength. It doesn't arrive as a gift. It doesn't show up one morning just because you want it. Strength is earned, and the price is discomfort. The price is pressure. The price is going through moments that test you in ways you never expected. And most people, they don't want to pay that price. They want confidence without struggle. They want growth without pain. They want success without sacrifice. But life doesn't work like that. There's a process, and that process demands something from you. It demands that you show up when it's hard. It demands that you keep going when you're tired. It demands that you hold your ground when everything inside you is telling you to walk away. That's how strength is built. Not in the easy moments, but in the hard ones. Because easy moments don't challenge you. They don't force you to grow. They don't push you beyond your limits. They keep you comfortable, and comfort, it doesn't make you stronger. Struggle does. Think about the moments that changed you. The times when you felt like you were at your lowest, the times when things didn't go your way, the times when you had to fight just to keep moving forward. You didn't enjoy those moments. You didn't ask for them, but they shaped you. They forced you to adapt. They forced you to think differently. They forced you to become someone who could handle more than you thought possible. That's strength. And it's built one decision at a time. Every time you choose to face a challenge instead of avoiding it, you're earning it. Every time you push through discomfort instead of running from it, you're earning it. Every time you keep your word to yourself, even when it's inconvenient, you're earning it. And slowly it adds up. You become more resilient, more focused, more disciplined. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. That's the difference. A lot of people spend their lives trying to make things easier. They look for shortcuts, for ways to avoid struggle, for ways to stay comfortable. But the ones who truly grow, they don't chase comfort. They chase development. They understand that the only way to become powerful is to go through what's uncomfortable. And here's the truth. Strength isn't just physical. It's mental, it's emotional. It's the ability to stay calm under pressure. It's the ability to think clearly when everything around you feels chaotic. It's the ability to keep moving forward when nothing is going your way. That kind of strength, it can't be taught. It has to be lived. You have to go through experiences that test you. You have to face moments that make you question yourself. You have to stand in situations where quitting feels like the easiest option and then choose not to quit. That's how you build something real. Because anyone can feel strong when things are going well. Anyone can be confident when everything is working out, but who are you when things fall apart? Who are you when the pressure hits? Who are you when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're doubting yourself? That's where your true strength is revealed, and that's where it's earned. So don't avoid those moments. Don't run from them. Don't wish for an easier path. Embrace the challenge, because every obstacle you face is an opportunity to grow stronger. Every setback is a chance to build resilience. Every difficult moment is a test that's preparing you for something greater. And the more you go through, the more you realize something powerful. And the more you go through, you're capable of more than you thought. You can handle more than you believed. You can endure more than you imagined. That's what strength shows you. It shows you who you really are, not the version of you that's comfortable, but the version of you that rises under pressure. And once you discover that version, once you understand what you're truly capable of, nothing can shake you the same way again. Because now you've been tested. Now you've been tested. Now you've been through the fire. Now you know that no matter what comes your way, you have what it takes to handle it. That's not confidence, that's certainty. And certainty is unbreakable. So don't look for an easy life. Look for growth. Look for challenges that force you to become better. Look for opportunities to prove to yourself that you're stronger than your circumstances, because strength isn't something you wait for. It's something you earn, and every single day you have a chance to earn a little more through your actions, through your choices, through your willingness to keep going when it's hard. That's the process. That's the path. And if you stay on it, if you keep choosing growth over comfort, if you keep showing up no matter what, you won't just become stronger. You'll become unstoppable. Now be real with yourself. Are you going to keep avoiding the struggle, or are you ready to step into it and earn the strength you've been looking for?